Everyone knows the situation on America's southern border is bad, with millions of undocumented migrants pouring into the United States. But it's much, much worse than anyone could ever have imagined. Have a look at this extraordinary Fox News report.
Director of Immigration and Customs Enforcement confirms that more than 13,000 illegal immigrants convicted of murder have been caught at the border and then released into the United States.
Joining us now is Based Politics co-founder, journalist and commentator Brad Polumbo. Brad, great to see you as always. Look, this is pretty bad. How did it get to this level? It's extraordinary.
This is sheer and utter madness. I mean, I think most Americans, Democrat or Republican, left or right, would agree that it's insane to just release convicted criminals into your country. It's not an indictment of all immigrants or all immigration to say that illegal immigrants with homicide convictions or sexual assault convictions shouldn't be allowed into our country. I mean, our immigration system is totally out of control. We need to completely reset it and reboot this computer because it's totally stopped working. Something is deeply broken where this is the status quo and we're expected to pretend that this is normal or acceptable. And then if you question it, you're somehow, racist, xenophobic, whatever. No, you can be pro-immigration, you can be pro-immigrant and still think that illegal immigrants with criminal convictions should never be allowed into our country, let alone released, despite knowing about their convictions. It's madness. And of course, Kamala Harris was put in charge of our root causes of our immigration problem. Don't forget that. What a wonderful job she's doing, guys.
Well, speaking of Kamala Harris, Donald Trump has been slammed for calling her mentally impaired. But based on what she's allowed to go on at the US border, I'm not sure he's far wrong. Here he is speaking in Wisconsin today.
Joe Biden became mentally impaired. Kamala was born that way. She was born that way. And if you think about it, only a mentally disabled person could have allowed this to happen to our country.
Here's what amazes me, Brad. People online are more upset that Donald Trump used the term mentally impaired than they are about the damage Kamala Harris has done to the country. Which is the greater crime? Saying something a little nasty and maybe a little politically incorrect, or essentially what amounts to treason, which we've seen on the southern border?
Well, yeah, I just can't get over the fact that people are stunned that Trump said this, as if this is some new offensive frontier for Donald Trump. I mean, on the scale of offensive things he said, this is like number 1,000. So is it the kind of language you'd like to see from a statesman? No, it's not. But if that was going to change anybody's mind about Donald Trump, it would have a long time ago. And yeah, look, I'm more concerned about the actual policies and the status quo that's impacting Americans than I am about the politeness of the word choice of political candidates at this point. And I think most Americans relate to that. Do we want civility to make a comeback in our politics? I think we do, but that ship has sailed a while ago now. And this, all things considered, isn't some insane thing to say. I mean, people do talk like this, whether elite liberals in coastal cities like to acknowledge it or not. So I think it as outraged as they want, but most Americans are hardly going to be scandalized by those comments.